John Peel.
I'm sure there is going to be more than one unpleasant surprise before we're done.
Radio 1.
Excellent record, Lamo.
Well, around the corner and down the street, there's a place where you dig that beat. Step into your blue suede shoes and rock to the sound of a rhythm and blues. Cause you're shaking up and down, you're rocking all around. You're hypnotized by the sound of the beat that shakes the rock around. Shake, 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 baby, shake, 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 baby, shake, 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 baby, shake, 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 baby, shake. No place to sit inside. You find no time to pine or cry. Grab your chick, start to jive. Well, man, it makes you feel alive. Cause you're shaking up and down. You're rocking all around. You're hypnotized by the sound of the beat that shakes the rock around. Shake, 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 baby, shake. Corner and down the street, up there's the place where you dig that beat. Step into your blue suede shoes and rock to the sound of a rhythm and blues. Cause you're shaking up and down, you're rocking all around. You're hypnotized by the sound of the beat that shakes the rock around. Shake, 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 baby, shake.
That was amazingly the Blue Tones, and that's Shake Shake, as you might imagine, from an LP called King Rockabilly, and that's on Ace Records. And it's one of those, it says on the back, 24 Legend. Let me just turn myself down a bit, because I seem to be a bit loud and over-projecting here, rather, I think. 24 legendary rockabilly sides from the King label of Cincinnati, home of some of the finest 50s roots music. And, as I say, that was Shake Shake. And what was I going to say about it? Oh, most of the tracks on here, very obscure indeed. And usually, obscure means crap, frankly. But on this particular occasion, there's a lot of good stuff on there, and you will hear more of it on these programmes.
And the best you will stay with you.
I think this is an LP that you must have, actually. King Tubby. The LP is called King Tubby's Lost Treasures. It's on Jamaican Records, JRLP 001, and Dub Confession was the title of that track. And again, I shall play you more tunes from this LP as well. It may be available on a CD. I've played it in its vinyl version, which I always commend, really. Now, tonight's session comes from Extreme Noise Terror from Ipswich. They formed in 1986. At the beginning, it says here, of the UK grindcore explosion, except we didn't really think of it as grindcore at the time, I don't think. They caught the attention of Manic Ears Records and recorded their first release, the now classic Ear Slaughter LP. ENT then went on to tour extensively, mainly with fellow noise merchants Napalm Death and Carcass. It was at this point that they recorded their first pure session. In the early 1990s, they recorded a new version of 3am Eternal with the KLF. The band made national press headlines when they fired blank machine gun bullets into the crowd while performing the song at the 1992 Brit Awards. It was a great moment, but they're probably fed up with being reminded of that. Extreme Noise Terror are now back with a new album called Being and Nothing. They're going to do a European tour in May, followed by a few shows in the UK. This is their third session for this programme. I'm surprised. I thought they'd done more, I must say. Well, I've got an hour or two to attend to emails this afternoon, and a lot of them were expressing enthusiasm for this session, so that was a good start, I think. Extreme Noise Terror and When Gods Burn. The lineup: Dean Jones vocals, Adam Catchpole vocals, Zach O'Neill drums, Ali Firuzbacht guitar, and Manny Butcher on bass. 3 or 4 more tracks from them before the end of the programme. Anyone for a golden shower?
golden shower, a golden shower.
In the darkness, the darkness, in the darkness.
And that's the title of the track, as you might imagine. Top quality entertainment on the John Peel Wingding. This is Exile on Beta Records, as in Alpha Beta. I already told her. Before that, it was the Golden Showers on Reptilian Records from Baltimore, and a rather fine track called simply Theme. Let me tell you once again about One Live in London over the Easter weekend from Thursday the 12th of April to Monday the 6th of April. Radio 1 will be broadcasting 5 nights of gigs and club nights from venues across London, and our programme comes from Ulu on Thursday, April the 12th, with Stephen Malkmus and possibly the Strokes. We've been mentioning that the Strokes were going to play since the first time we mentioned One Live in London, but there is some uncertainty about all of that now, and I'm not quite... it'd take too long to explain, frankly, but we're still hoping that they will turn up. It's our fault, I think it's fair to say, is it, Need? Certain amount of darkness, no question about it. But the main support act is a collaboration between 2 very special guests, and I can't tell you who one of them is, but the other one, well, here she comes. That's Nico Case, and it's a track which I was listening to actually in the car on the way in, and I wasn't really expecting it to be on the record because I hadn't bothered to see what... it's a kind of compilation LP from Bloodshot Records, and it's called Down to the Promised Land, 5 years of Bloodshot Records, released date June the 20th, 2000. We already had that. I must have missed... Anyway, it says it's a special advance of disc 1, and I never got disc 2, but I bet there's some good stuff on there because there's some great stuff on disc 1. And of that track, it just says Nico Case and John Rauhaus favourite. Beyond that, no information at all. But Nico Case is going to be part of our One Live in London with somebody else's name we cannot yet divulge, and hopefully the Strokes and certainly Stephen Malkmus. For more information and ticket details, you can call the Radio 1 concert line on 0870 100 100 and go to option 2. One Live in London, 5 days, 1 city, 1 station. Wow. That's Zabrinsky, single on Booby Trap Records. It's called Freedom of the Highway, and it's on the same label, actually, that the current Durero record has been released. And in case anybody is wondering, including Durero themselves, why it's not been played on this programme, it's because I'd lost my copy of it. It disappeared somewhere into the unimaginable chaos of Peel Acres. There are now I worked it out over the weekend, over 4,000 unheard CDs, and I'd listened to things like, around the clock. That's true, isn't it, Anita, the producer? You've been there. It is true. Just shout, it's true.
It's true.
Okay, very good. And so obviously, I do my best. But was it last week or the week before, where I mentioned that I've got something like 272 CDs in 1 week, which is more hours. I mean, obviously each one is about an hour long, and there's only 168 hours in the week or something like that. Anyway, so really, it's not an easy task. But nevertheless, it's obviously much more agreeable than being down the mines, frankly. Right, an email from Stuart Finney and Robin Honeyman expressing their admiration for Extreme Noise Terror. Here they come again. Sounding better than ever, if you ask me, which of course you don't. Screaming Bloody Murder is the title of the track. That's Extreme Noise Terror. And here's Trevor Whatever. Went down very well when I played this last week or the week before. Wild Northwest.
witness on the great wide range. I'm in this, the witness on the great wide range. I'm in this, the witness on the great wide range. I lived and died by the burning flame.
Almost faded it too early. Trevor Whatever on Under Fives Records from the EP Long Time Female Friend, and that's called Wild Northwest. And an email from Dave Parker. He says, last week, I think it was on Wednesday night, you played a track by a band whose name sounded like Iron Plute, but I may have misheard you. It would be I Am Clute. 3 words, Dave, if you're with us tonight. Well, it's 3 words if you're not, actually. I, as in I, am, as in am, Clute, K-L-O-O-T. And I was listening to their LP over the weekend, and they've had a few singles out and other bits and pieces and so forth, which have been kind of okay, but haven't really knocked me out. But the LP, oddly enough, which has most of these tracks on it, sort of really hangs together as an LP, and I liked it better as an LP than I did a selection of individual tracks. Does that make sense to you? Are you impressed by that? And let's see, here's an email from Maynard Keenan. It says, following the sad news of the death of John Fay, we're holding an evening in celebration of the much-loved Sonic Twiddler. We're only going to be spinning his and other Tacoma records, but feel that a get-together and a drink in his benefit is more than in order. I'd be there if I wasn't working, to be honest with you. We're hosting it on the upper deck of the weekly Ex-Acoustic Club, and we'd greatly appreciate it if you could give us a mention on the programme. We're looking forward to seeing anyone there. That's Ex-Acoustic at Monkey Chews, Queen's Crescent, NW5, Chalk Farm Tube. That'll be London, of course. A bit of a memorial to John Fay. Right, it's time for the Pigs Big 78, and this one will go down very well with our friend Eddie the Toff.
Riley's Cowshed, a foxtrot played by the Hurlingham Club Orchestra on Winner Records.
And that was the Hurlingham Club Orchestra, conducted, there's the pig omitted to say, by Mr Bernard Filer on Winner Records. Riley's Cowshed was the title of it. And an email here, it sounds actually excellent. This is from DJ Chaz, and it says, can you please mention a new night starting in Derry? The night in question is called Beats Ahoy and takes place once a month on a cruiser on the River Foyle. The boat sails to Donegal and back again with DJs, African drummers on board, creating a very different sound entirely. I can well believe that sounds like a great night out, provided it's not raining. The club is membership only, and we hope to attract suitable guests who'd appreciate playing to a very well-schooled audience while drinking excessively on a boat. Shouldn't be too difficult to persuade people, really. I'm not reading this well, am I? But, you know, you get the message anyway. But if anybody's been on one of those, I should be interested to hear a report on it. Beats Ahoy on a cruiser on the River Foyle. Fantastic. Right, where are we now? Tomorrow night's session comes from these people. Bit of a pause.
Tell me a horoscope sign, and I can tell you mine. I wanna take your pictures, I wanna put your lipstick on. Pick up style, pick up style. Your eyes are glasses turning me on. Cheap and pretty, dead by 30, you know, the plastic is forever. Pick up style, pick up style. Falling in love with you, think I'm falling in love with me, think I'm falling in love with you, think I'm falling in love with me. But if you touch me, will I disappear? You know, that make it forever. But if you touch me, will I disappear? You know, that make it forever. Pick up style. Pick up style. You know, that make it forever. 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 You know, the plastic is forever.
That's Riviera. They're in session tomorrow. That's called Pick Up Star. And I happen to know that they're going to be doing a version of that in tomorrow night's programme. And the reason it started because it was on a demo and there's a bit of a pause at the start of it. And I apologise for that if it's brought your enjoyment of the programme. Do I sound sincere on that? I think I do. john.peel@bbc.co.uk for your emails, if you like. And this is... What am I playing here next? This is from the Electric Company.
Let yourself notice your thoughts. Let yourself.
Those are the Mogs doing it for you. Mogwai on Southpaw Records from the LP Rock Action, and that's Take Me Somewhere Nice. Before that, it was the Electric Company. They're on Planet Mu. The LP's called Slow Food, and that was Watch Yourself. And an email here from Richard Medhurst, listener in China. He says, hello from a part of the world where Western music means Richard Clayderman and Celine Dion, only the more avant-garde places dabbling with Britney Spears. This is, well, that would be, there are places like that in this country. This is a part of the world I've been teaching in for a year and a half, so I was very happy a little earlier this year when I received 2000's Festive 50 recorded by my dad, Brian Medhurst. I'd like you to dedicate a song to him, and I hope that he'll be listening. But if not, could you dedicate it to anyone who's done VSO, particularly in China? By the way, did you know that your website is banned here? I didn't know that. Is it banned in China? Well, is there something wrong with it? It must be those bifurcated penis shots that I allowed to have put on there. Was that a mistake, do you think? Yeah. You should be more careful. Where are we now? Extreme Noise Terror in session, Being and Nothing. that's a track from, what is it? It's an LP, really, I suppose. Sorry, I was rather taken by surprise by that ending. It's the title of it is Progopoly, and it's on Plastic Park Records, and it says here it's a 9-track compilation of pumping progressive trance from Germany, Sweden and Eastern Europe, and the track I played you there was by Bigwigs, I'm not sure where they come from, and Vibraphone was the title of it, and an email here from Louis Lushington, and it says, over a year ago, you kindly dedicated a record announcing my birth. I'm now pretty wide, and as my mum and dad will testify, my shit's very real. Thanks for the influence. That's Louis Lushington, and thank you for that, Louis, and my regards to your mum and dad. Where are we now? You know how you sometimes get a record stuck in your head, and I mean, this is one that got stuck in my head. It's not because somebody wrote and asked me what this record was, but or tune was, and I found myself over the weekend going, "Rockin' like a hickory, dickory dock, rock-a-bye my baby," trying to remember who it was by, and I remembered.
Oh, well, put your arms around me now and try your best to squeeze me. Love me, baby, you know how. Yes, rock me, my baby. Well, rock like a hickory, dickory dock, rock-a-bye my baby. Up and down, around the clock, well, rock me, my baby. Blend your kisses on my lips and make me bubble brightly. Thrill me to my fingertips. Well, rock me, my baby. Well, rock like a hickory, dickory dock, rock upon my baby. Up and down, around the clock. Well, rock me, my baby. Tell me that you love me too, and say you'll never leave me. No one loves you like I do, so rock me, my baby. Well, rock like a hickory, dickory dock, rock upon my baby. Up and down, around the clock. Well, rock me, my baby. Well, rock like a hickory, dickory dock, rock upon my baby. Up and down, around the clock, well, rock me, my baby.
I should be singing that to myself for weeks, and a nice guitar on there too. I'd forgotten that. Those are the Crickets, Buddy Holly, and from the LP, the Chirping Crickets, "Rock Me, My Baby," and this is Hubert Schleithog with DJ Slavar, MC Slavar.
Twitching. Original. Nerves are twitching. Backstabbers, money grabbers. Backstabbers, money grabbers. My nerves are twitching. Watch it. My nerves are twitching, haha. twitching. False information. Still got my concentration. After 600 years of false information and annexation. Still got my concentration after 600 years of false information. Still got my concentration, false information. My nerves are twitching. My nerves are twitching. Twitching. Ain't joking.
Original.
Some good noises in that from the LP stuff. That's Sluber Clythog with MC Slavar, and Twitchio is the title of the track. And an email here from Scott in the United States. He says, sorry to bother you, what was that song you played after the Golden Shower song? I got caught off guard and didn't catch the name of it. Thanks a ton. Keep up the good work. You guys are much better than any radio station here in the US. Well, what do you say? We say yeah. Everybody say yeah. Right, the record was The Other Side, that's the title, by Exile Scott, and by Exile, Scott, not Exile Scott, that would be silly, and it's a 12-inch on Beta Records. This is Yami Bolo and Shalom.
God knows why. Jaja loving, guide I and I. 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 From the east to the west, we got to seek Jaja righteousness. Though they search with their implements of death, Haile Selassie won't let them find my footsteps. Jaja loving, guide I and I. 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 Yeah, Jah love is clean, Jah love is pure. If you got Jah love, you don't want nothing more. Oh Jah, I need your righteousness, and you will never hold back an our request. Jaja loving, guide I and I. 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 Stand ya hanging, now ya ain't worn. Rastafari, above a Janai. Selassie, keep your arm locked. Yes, Mr. Thou create earth and sea, teaching the people about unity. Wipe away all misery. No Jah love ain't no mystery. Jaja loving, guide I and I. 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 Hey yo. So many children gone astray. So many people, their lost their way. With Jah, your future will be bright. All you got to do is live up full and right. Jaja loving, guide I and I. Jaja loving. righteousness. See, they coming with their implements of death. I Selassie won't let them find my footstep. Jaja loving, guide and I. Jaja loving, guide and I. Jaja loving, guide and I. Jaja loving, guide and I.
Now, isn't that a nice record? It's by Yami Bolo and Shalom on What I Table Music, and that's Jah Love, Guide I and I. And what have I got for you now? Another one from Extreme Noise Terror. They're in session tonight. This is One Truth, One Hate. Well, there they go, saying "bah" to life, as always. Extreme Noise Terror in session. That's One Truth, One Hate. And an email here from Krista in Vienna. And says, just sitting down in front of my computer, writing, or rather trying to get my ideas down on paper for our thesis in history, and, of course, listening to the programme, without which my lonely nights in front of the binary machine would become intolerable. I remember that you've always been a great fan of Atfest. Very interesting, actually, Krista, and I hope you're not going to be disappointed in this, but several years ago, quite a long time ago now, 5 or 6 years ago, we managed to get on some kind of scam whereby producer Mike Hawkes, this was a long time ago, actually, and I travelled around parts of Europe. And to what end? I can't really remember. But we ended up in Budapest, and but we did make a considerable detour to go by and to interview them for the programme, because I'd always liked their music, and it seemed like a good way of giving them a bit of publicity and playing some of the music on the radio. And they were fantastically obnoxious people. I mean, we went to their house, and they just really took the mickey out of us. And they'd got mates of theirs with video cameras recording absolutely every single thing that we said and did, and they were really unpleasant. And I've never played another one of their records since then. So let that be a lesson to you. And where are we now? Just before the programme started, I was having a look at the April edition of Sleaze Nation, and on the front of it there's a thing that says blood, sex and death. Country music is hard and in. And of course regular listeners to this programme will know that already. There's a nice reference to Nico Case in the course of the piece, and it is good general history of country music through the ages. And there's a bloke who lived in Dallas, Oklahoma and San Bernardino, all of them kind of pretty redneck places. Country music and I are older friends. And also, as I get older, too, I have to admit this, I cry almost continuously. I mean, members of my family quite worry about this, and people who know about me. It doesn't take very much. Somebody has to make some sentimental remark, and I'm gone. And obviously, country music I'm particularly vulnerable to country music in this respect. And I was listening to this CD, as I mentioned earlier on, as I drove into London, down to the Promised Land, 5 years of Bloodshot Records. And there was a track on there from the Handsome Family that I'd never heard before, and it left me in what? Oh, no, sorry. You can always go out. Because Anita was very upset when I played it to her as well. And it left me in floods. I mean, it really did, as Marianne. She's far too hard to cry at country songs, isn't she? Anyway, The Handsome Family, it's called I Hear a Sweet Voice Calling, and I shall almost certainly have to segue it into... I mean, I know it's cheap, sentimental and stuff, and yet it gets you. It really does. I mean, I shall have to segue the next record in immediately behind it, I think. The Handsome Family.
Our little girl had taken sick one evening on her way home from school, and soon her deathbed claimed her. It made her so sad and blue. And she called me to her bedside and whispered soft and low, "Oh, Daddy, please fetch Mama. I'm gonna kiss her once and go. I hear a sweet voice calling way up in heaven on high. God's made room for your daughter. Oh, Mommy and Daddy, don't cry. Take care of little brother. Tell him I'm gone to rest. I know his little heart will be broken. He's all that you have left. Then she closed her eyes forever, never to see us no more, until we meet up yonder on that bright and peaceful shore. I hear a sweet voice calling way up in heaven on high. God's made room for your daughter. Oh, Mommy and Daddy, don't cry.
put that in your pipe and smoke it. On Rotation Records from Swindon, that's Alenia, A-L-E-N-I-A, and the track is called Systems, S-Y, no, forget it. And before that, it was, what was the track that I played you from the Down to the Promised Land compilation on Bloodshot Records? It was, I've lost my place completely now. The Handsome Family, I Hear a Sweet Voice Calling. Never cried at all as a kid, you know me. I mean, I was known as the kid that never cried. Then when I was about 26, 27, started, never looked back. And my thanks to Tom Craig in Belfast for sending me information about the second record in the Down to the Promised Land set, which for some reason we don't seem to have. And I read somewhere that Mira out of Ladytron, in fact it was in the same article that I mentioned earlier on from Sleaze Nation, that Mira out of Ladytron is also into country music. And here's a track from Ladytron. Neat, really, isn't it? Deftones, Mary Ann Hobbs said when I asked her what was in her programme tonight. I haven't got time for a chat, really, because I'm running behind as it is. Is that OK?
Yeah.
OK. Ladytron on Invicta Hi-Fi Records from the LP 604, and that's called I'm With the Pilots. And something else that gave me a great deal of pleasure over the weekend was a new recording by the Cuban Boys, and this may or may not come out as a single at some stage, but one of the first records that I really went mad for when I was just a little daft kid was from the Student Prince, and the soundtrack of this. In fact, the first time I saw the Student Prince, immediately afterwards, was the first time I ever kissed a girl. I was 23. No, actually, I was a little earlier than that, but I love that kind of drink, 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 da, 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 all that stuff. Great song, and I used to have the record of it by Maria Lanza, but the Cuban Boys have done it to great advantage.
Achtung, fertig, los. Die Tassen hoch. Lasst uns saufen bis zum Umfallen.
1, 2, 3, 4, lift your style and drink your beer. Drink, 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 1, 2, 3, 4. Drink, 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 drink,
Fine stuff. The Cuban Boys, forthcoming single, and that they call it Drink, and why shouldn't they? I think it's the drinking song, actually, in the original, from the soundtrack of the film The Student Prince. And this is Chapter 13. Well, this is Chapter 13, to be more accurate. Hours and Days.
Still revealing
From that golden year, 1930, that's Duke Ellington and his orchestra, Mood Indigo, and it has cropped up on the Tricont LP, Heartbreakers 1927 to 1946, Blue and Lonely, another fine compilation from the label. Before that, it was Chapter 13, and Saltwater and Drive-In Records of the United States of America have combined to put out an LP called The World from Heaven by Chapter 13, and the track I played you was Hours and Days. Are we negotiating for a session with Chapter 13 in some way? Yeah, right. How's it going? It's going very well. OK, fair enough. Extreme Noise Terror, they're in session tonight. No Longer as Slaves. Well, the BBC Information and Archives people have listed that as being called No Longer as Sleeves, which puts a completely different cast on it. No Longer as Slaves, that's Extreme Noise Terror, the final tune from them tonight. And this is a 7-inch single on clear vinyl, or clear something anyway, by Encre, as in the French for ink, if memory serves. This is on Active Suspension Records. 7-inch from Active Suspension Records of Paris, France. This is by Encre. An email from Hugh Spiller saying, have you got the new Ortega album yet? No. Last record tonight, this is for Air and the Evertonian, amongst others. It's Easy Action. Searing, I'd say. That's Easy Action on Reptilian Records of Baltimore again, and that's called You and Me. Tomorrow night's session comes from Riviera. Thanks for listening to this.
Radio 1.
At 12 midnight, it's Dominic Byrne.
Farmers are told the worst is still to come.
Radio 1 News Beat.
The government's been telling farmers the foot and mouth crisis